first time. You need to, before you have any of the problems, when you just have the vision of how you're going to reach those kids, now's the time you begin to recruit. See, most people blow right past this. Most people blow right past it. Most people, they get in with a few people and they start doing all this. They have no idea how many people they're really going to need. So here's what we've learned to do. We've learned to build what we call a faith structure. Faith structure. And here's what it is. You know, you got, if you're the primary leader, you have you, and then you decide how many leaders do you have down here. You may say, man, I need 5 leaders right under me. Okay, there they are. What position do they play? Well, I want one over the 9 o'clock service, one over 11:30. I want one that's admin. I need somebody just over registration check-in. That's all they do, registration. Now I'm just going off the top of my head, okay? And so you're mapping that out. So what you're going to do is, when you get in to do strategy, you're going to make sure that you have people that have the ability and the capacity to play these roles. They may not even know what you're thinking about them, but you have to be way ahead as a leader. And then you're going to, maybe with their help, maybe before, you're going to start mapping out, and what you're going to find out is, man, to reach 200 kids, man, we need like 50 people. 50 people. Don't wait. Don't wait. You have this person, 9 o'clock, say, you know, we gotta see how many people we're gonna need. We're gonna need like a dozen people just for the first service. Just with those classrooms. Now this person comes into it and begins to see, okay, all right, I see where we're going with this. And we're gonna need about a dozen people to play these various roles. Once you map out the role, once you map that out, and all of those have even very simple 2-sentence job descriptions, now you can fill them. See, because you come to somebody and say, hey, listen, let me tell you something. At 9 o'clock in our age group, we've got the kindergarten through 3rd grade. You know what happens is we go to get in there and it's going great, but sometimes parents are bringing kids late, and we need somebody that can greet these parents and don't make the parents feel like they're interrupting us, even though they are. But don't make them feel like that, because they're just trying to get to church. Who knows what's going on in their family, in their home, what kind of fight or what the enemy attacked them with. We need somebody that can help us, but can just be prepared just to whip around and say, hey, glad you came today. Man, they might be 45 minutes late. That's okay. We just need to put a big smile on their face and just welcome these parents and say, glad you came today, and help them to feel good, because who knows if that interaction before they go into service late wasn't what opened up their heart to say, you know what, I'm glad I did come. I wasn't going to come being so late, but I'm glad I came, and now the Lord's going to minister to them. See, you come and just paint that picture, and somebody say, you know what, I'll come help you do that. And now somebody's going to be blessed. But see, you've got something in mind. But if you're just overwhelmed and you don't have specific positions, then what you're going to say is, hey, can you help us? Oh man, we got all kinds of problems. And you're going to lay out problems instead of vision. And they're going to walk in, they're going to say, what do you want me to do? Just help us. See, and it's like inviting people over to dinner, and they walk in and all the seats are filled, and they're standing there waiting for you to give them a seat, and you don't have a seat for them. Run to the office, run back somewhere, go out to the garage and get a lawn chair, something, and move your chair over to give it to them, and you sit in the lawn chair. How many of you know that's what you do for guests, right? But make sure that when they walk in, they have a seat. It's called a job description. It's called a role. Because that helps them to realize, okay, I have a place here. I'm a part on this team. And I'm telling you, this is where a lot of our leaders are missing it. We got this huge vision in front of us, but they start working on strategy before they've built the structure. And so you've got people in the room trying to work on strategy, but they're not the leaders that you needed to lead at that level. they're playing this role or that role or the other role, but you weren't clear in your mind. It's so important that you capture this, that you understand. I know this, before every year when we go away to pray, and I bring the team away to the cabin to pray and seek the Lord for the year, I have my team pressing on me like, hey, we need to give some details and everything, and I tell them, I can't give you any details until I'm clear from the Lord on who it is that we need up there. I've got to know. I've got to know which team is the Lord saying to bring up there that's going to carry this thing from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. It's not enough just to have warm bodies in the room. I need to know who are the people that I can lean on. Who are the people that can carry a piece of this thing. And you can hand the baton to them for that area, and they're going to run with it and do everything they can to run through the tape at the other end of this race to hit our goals. See what I'm talking about? So that's why I've got to know, for example, if we're starting church, I got to know who is it that's going to take this administrative baton? Who is it that's going to take this kids ministry baton or youth ministry baton or worship baton? Who's going to do that? Who's going to handle the outside of the services while I'm inside the service? Who's going to handle it out there and make sure that they're thinking about parking and courtyard and greeting, and they're not going to be distracted talking to people. They're going to be aware, man, people are walking in over here, no one's greeting them. They're going to be aware of that. See, I've got to have those people in the room when we strategize. Because if they're not in the room and I'm trying to catch them up later, it's difficult. He prayed all night long at the beginning of his ministry to make sure that he had the right leaders on his team. And when he left, those leaders, with the exception of Judas, changed the world. Everybody catching this? Many, many leaders make this mistake of not taking it seriously to get all the right leaders in place first and to help them to see how many people they need. Every one of your leaders needs leaders. And so just like it's important for you to have those leaders, now you have to coach them to say, don't start running with your vision until you get your leaders in place. Build your faith structure. And once you build your faith structure, now you can fill that structure. But if you don't have the seats around the table, it's hard to tell somebody and convince them that they're welcome when you don't have a seat for them. Does this make sense? Okay. Now, you got your outlines?
Yeah.
All right. The purpose of strategies. I got to move very quickly. Remember, this is just overview. So we're going to dive into these more deeply. Many leaders say that they have a vision from God, but it never happens. Direction is where we're going. Strategy is how we're going to get there. Strategy determines, write this in, strategy determines who does what and when. Strategy determines who does what and when. And that's primarily speaking of your top level leaders. Don't be quick to make decisions. Keep asking why before you make final decisions. Now, diagnose before you prescribe. Wouldn't it be terrible if you went to the doctor and, in fact, I'll tell you this. I haven't been to the doctor a long time, and about 6 months ago I decided I should go in. Probably good just to go in and get a checkup and everything, so I did. We had changed insurance several years ago, so I didn't really have a primary care physician and such, so I said, okay, well, I got to choose some. So I looked on our network, to see who the doctors were. I don't know who these guys are, so I chose one. There you go. So I go in there, and so anyway, they bring me in the room, took the weight and everything, brought me in the room, and so I'm sitting there waiting for him. He comes in there, hey, how you doing? Good to see you and everything. Walked over to his computer, okay, let's see that. And about a minute into it, he goes, oh, new patient. Oh, how you doing? Shook my hand. Good to see you. Okay, great. All right, and just talk to me a little bit. Well, let's do this. Why don't we get this checked? Okay, and he's out the door, and I'm thinking, good night. Does he even know my name? Wouldn't it be terrible you go into the doctor, and the doctor says, okay, what's the problem? Well, I got this pain right. Yeah, it's probably something with your kidney. Let's just send you for a CT scan. In fact, why don't we just schedule surgery and just take your kids? Terrible. Hold on a minute now. You don't know if it's an itch on the back of my back or what, you know? But sometimes people jump to conclusions, and sometimes we as leaders jump to conclusions. Let me give you an example from a little article I ran across. A few years ago, National Parks managers noticed that the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. was crumbling at an alarming rate. When they asked why, they found out that it was being washed far more often than the other memorials. For most organizations, the analysis would have stopped right there. The solution is clear, right? Adjust the cleaning schedule to match those of the other memorials. Unfortunately, that solution would have only led to a very dirty Jefferson Memorial. Parks managers were fortunate enough to ask, why a second time? Why the frequent washings? And they discovered that the Jefferson Memorial had an exceptionally large amount of bird droppings. So, wisely, the National Parks managers inquired again. Why? Why did the birds seem to soil the Jefferson Memorial at a higher rate than they did the Kennedy or the Lincoln Memorial? And what they learned was that the Virginia's memorial harbored an incredibly large population of spiders, upon which the birds were feeding. And they asked a fourth time, say it, why? And they discovered that the population of spiders had exploded because of an abundance of midges. Midges are tiny aquatic insects. By now, I think you have the routine. So they asked, why? Why all the midges? And what they learned was something that any fly fisherman might find out on their first day in the river. And that is, midges are stimulated to emerge and mate by a unique quality of light. It just so happened that park managers were inadvertently creating this unique quality of light by turning the lights on of the memorial just before dark. This one variable caused the whole chain of events. The light caused lots of midges, lots of spiders, lots of birds, lots of droppings, lots of cleaning, and finally, a crumbling memorial. The solution is actually pretty simple. Change the schedule of the lights. Now, how often do we as leaders jump to conclusions? And somebody said, it's crumbling. Why is it crumbling? Well, we're washing it about 3 times as much as we are. Oh, all right, well, just adjust the schedule, make it like this, and then you're on. It's going to take you several years to figure out what the real problem is. And by that point, you may have lost your job. See, we need to slow down. Remember I told you direction takes the most discipline, right? We need to slow down and make sure we're making the right decisions. And we're asking the question, why? Proverbs 24:6 says, it's better to be wise than strong. Intelligence outranks muscle any day. Strategic planning is the key to warfare. To win, you need a lot of good counsel. That's the Message version. Now, the purpose of strategy. First of all, because the vision is bigger than you are. The vision is bigger than you are. Second, the fulfillment of a large vision is only the joint fulfillment of many smaller interrelated visions, all in alignment. Third, a strategy provides handles for others to help carry the load. And fourth, a strategy is an agreement of how we will approach the vision or the goal. Now, I want to put something up on the screens. I want to put an image up on the screens. You guys have that ready? All right, let's put it up. Now, I want you to answer this question. Don't say a word. Can you do that? Don't say anything out loud. How many triangles do you see? Don't say it. Just count them. Raise your hand if you think you got it. All right, right back there. Yeah. 17, okay? Yeah. 25 or so. I guarantee it's not or so. 21? 25. We got two 25s. So we got 26. That's the or so. 24? 24, okay? 21. 30. Okay. What do you have over here? Who give me 32? 32. All right. Yes. 16. Good. Yeah. 28. Now, let me just ask you a question. Hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. Let me ask you a question. You guys are all looking up here, right? Is this one different than that one over there? Oh, they're the same. Okay. You guys are all looking at these though, right? How can we be looking at the same thing and come up with different answers? We don't see it the same way. How many of you are looking at it with your eyes? All right? So we're all using our eyes to look at this. We all see it. Nobody's turning your head looking upside down, right? Or sideways. Or looking. How can you look at the same thing and see something different? That happens all the time, doesn't it? We get into meetings and we cast vision and we think, isn't that exciting? Everybody says, that's exciting. Everybody's thinking something different. And you don't realize it. You as the leader think that everybody sees what you see. And they do, but they don't. In fact, Jesus told us this. He said, seeing, they don't see. Remember this? Hearing, they don't hear. So you can see the same thing. We're all still looking at it. Did you know not anybody got the right answer? Not anybody. You want to know what the right answer is? 240. No, I'm just kidding. Looking for their glasses. No, there are 27. 27. There are 16 single cell triangles. There are 7 4-cell triangles. There are 3 9-cell triangles. And of course, there's 1 16-cell triangle. 27. Now, isn't that something we can all sit here and stare at it, but we all see something different? But just think how it is with your teams. That's why you need to take your time with strategy. When you just flip something out there, it may be clear to you, but it's not clear to everybody else. It takes working at it, and let's count them together. See, if we took time and we actually shaded the different triangles, one size at a time, we'd all see it clearly. But when we just look at it, now they're there. We see them. Everybody sees 27. But not everybody can distinguish the same. And it doesn't have anything to do with intelligence. Now, that's the importance of strategies. Let's talk about the importance now of written strategies. Written strategies. Remember, Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision. Make it plain on tablets. Write the vision. Make it plain on tablets. That he may run who reads it. Most people learn better visually. This is why to have a written strategy and not just a verbal agreement. You get into meetings and everybody takes their own notes and they walk away, but you have no document of what we agreed on. No master document. We need a master document called a written strategy. Here's why. Most people learn better visually. Writing shows commitment. Writing makes it easier to refer to. Writing clarifies what we're agreeing on. Writing creates confidence to act. And writing is easier to change. When God wanted us to see his strategy for the world, what did he do? He wrote it down. It's called the Bible. Aren't you glad he just didn't give it verbally and the grapevine delivered the gospel to us? Thank God for the written Word of God. All right, let's talk about preparing to develop a written strategy. Of course, we always start off by asking God for wisdom, James 1:5. If anyone lacks wisdom, ask God. I'm moving quickly. And then I talked to you a little bit about assembling the right strategy team. The right strategy team. And let me just mention this. The key to commitment is involvement. The key to commitment is involvement. Let me show you what I mean by that. How many of you are married tonight? Or you keep your hands up, but everybody that either is married or has been married before, raise your hand. Okay, now, I want you to think about this. If you come home and you talk to your spouse and say, hey, man, I want to get a dog, or I want to get a new car, or I really think that we have to landscape the backyard. Okay? Now, you can come in and talk about it, and you may get some resistance at first. Well, I don't think we need to do that. We got all these other priorities going on right now. Yeah, well, let me tell you why, and you work it out, and finally you come up to an agreement and you begin to move forward on it. Okay? But have you ever tried it the other way? Honey, look at Fido. Right? Or, hey, I bought a car. How many of you know that can go over like a lead balloon? Now, why is that? Because the key to commitment is involvement. And you know how difficult it is to prepare a whole strategy? It could be the perfect strategy. I mean, it's comprehensive, it's thorough, it's simple, it's clear, it's exciting. And then you go looking for your key leaders. Hey, check this out. I need you to do this and such, and if you could help us out. And let me just sit down with you because, man, we took several hours and mapped out this whole strategy, right? And you just overwhelm them. And so you're trying to download to your team 4 to 8 hours of strategic planning. And you're going to download it in a 10-minute conversation. And that person is feeling like, it ain't for me. And you walk away thinking, are they even saved? Man, I mean, we were excited. We felt the presence of the Holy Spirit in the room. And I tried to share with this guy. Man, Skip just looked at me like, like a Martian or something. What's going on? What's going on is he wasn't involved. Now, you can't have everybody, if you're going to have 50 people on your team, you can't have everybody in there because it's going to take us 3 months to strategize. We're out of business by then. Okay? But your key leaders have to be there. If they don't build it with you, they won't be very committed to it. Just like with the people, when you're making a major decision, you need to have those key stakeholders in the room, particularly the ones that are going to carry this out. Don't expect people to carry out what you planned. So somebody said, well, how do we get all those 50 people in the room? You don't get them in the same room. But see, those leaders that you had in the room with you to strategize, each of them are going to go have some leaders. And they're going to get those leaders in the room with their part of the vision. And some of them may have leaders, and they're going to get their leaders in the room. Does that make sense? So everybody has to